Welcome to the Inspired Riding Podcast. I'm your host, Beth Lauren Parrish. As a certified riding instructor, remote coach, and rapid transformational therapy practitioner, a powerful form of hypnotherapy, I'm here to remind you to slow down, trust your intuition, and really deeply listen to your horse. And this will make for the best co-creative dances possible, whether you're on the ground or connecting on their backs. Thank you so much for being here, and here we go. In this podcast, I'm actually going to share advice for inspired riding instructors. I'm going to read some of the chapters from my guidebook that I wrote many years ago, and I thought it would be nice to put it all in one podcast. I'm going to be kicking off an interview series for riding instructors this year, and I thought this would be a great way to get it started. So if you're listening to this, if you're an instructor and you'd like to be interviewed, please go ahead and go to my website, inspiredriding.com, find my contact button there, and you can email me, and I'd be happy to have you on the series. All right, here we go. Chapter 11 from the guidebook. It's called Empty Your Cup. First, I want to congratulate you for taking your time to explore this information. This is a great sign that you're already open to new insights. Whether you're just getting into teaching or have been instructing forever, the idea of emptying your cup is simple, but not always easy, just like teaching riding. Focus on the idea that everyone can still learn. I know I learned something about myself or my student in nearly every lesson. Every student presents different opportunities to become more creative in getting their light bulb moments to happen. The best way to keep your edge is to allow your cup to be refillable. Drink in more knowledge and continue to refill it. Imagine that your cup is always ready for one more. One of my first steady teaching jobs was right in the middle of New York City. There were 9 other instructors at the huge indoor arena. Sometimes 5 or 6 lessons could be happening at once. We all taught our students proper arena etiquette, and I learned a ton just from observing other lessons. I decided to take at least one lesson with each of the instructors there. The more I could learn, the more I could help my students. I continue to look for clinics to audit, more training videos to watch, and take lessons whenever I can. How often do you seek out new ideas? Here's a list of thoughts to help you get re-energized for learning. Number 1, join an instructor's support group online. Ask questions about how each person handles situations. Stay humble and grateful, and knowledge will keep pouring in. Number 2, attend many clinics and events that will challenge you both as a rider and an instructor. Number 3, watch other lessons when you can and take lessons from different trainers that you admire. You never know when you'll get a light bulb moment for yourself to pass along to your students. Number 4, read more books. I know, pretty simple, right? But so many of us don't take the time. I suggest creating a little mini college setting for yourself. Pick specific days and times, just like scheduling a lesson, where you read for at least 20 minutes a day. Keep the knowledge coming. Number 5, watch training videos that inspire you, as well as seek out podcasts that you can listen to while driving. I love multitasking that way. Number 6, find another instructor in your area to have a swap students day. Ask them to teach your students and vice versa. Having fresh eyes on your students will be enlightening, as well as having a chance to teach students that aren't your regular bunch. Be open to a mutual win-win for everyone. Number 7, learn new things that have nothing to do with riding. Challenge yourself to pick up a different hobby. The more you fire up your brain for new things, the more energized you will be in your normal activities. Number 8, take some time to write down notes about some of your lessons. It will force you to slow down and analyze how the lessons are going, and you'll be able to reflect on ideas to make any necessary changes. Number 9, decide to learn how to do a different writing discipline in order to expand your teaching capabilities. And finally, number 10, take on a working student who would also like to teach. When you teach someone else how to teach, it definitely challenges you to stay on your game. Plus, it'll help you create more time in the long run to make you time, as they can take on some of your lessons as needed. All right, here we go with Chapter 12, Intention, setting up successful moments. So how many times do you begin teaching in the same way without really thinking about it? I get it. We all fall into routines, ruts, habits, etc. They could be absolutely wonderful routines, but it's certainly useful to incorporate some specific intentions for each lesson. Here's what I'll do before I teach. I get very quiet, and sometimes I'll put a hand on my heart and I'll ask myself, what will be the best plan for this student today? The answers that come from my heart or my inner guidance often surprise me. Of course, I still look at what is right in front of me, since unexpected, more pressing issues might present themselves. I also love to ask if my student has any specific goal for that lesson. The more I ask my students for feedback, the easier it is to shift the lesson to create the best possible learning space. Here's a list of ideas to help you set your lessons up for success. Number 1, check in with your intuition to see if something specific comes up. Fill yourself up with love and allow that love to permeate your whole teaching experience. Just this idea alone will make a profound shift on how your student and horse responds. Number 2, ask your student how he or she is feeling that day. Pay close attention to what they don't say. Notice their body language. Don't be afraid to ask again, and be sure to let them feel safe about responding honestly. The more you can sense how your student feels before they even get in the saddle, the better you will be to assist in the moment. Number 3, this might sound really silly, but here's a trick I use when it looks like the student or the horse could get themselves into a bad spot. Don't worry, you don't have to tell anyone what you're doing. It'll be our little secret. Okay, here it is. I pretend I am a Jedi Master from Star Wars, and I imagine a big bubble of white light around the horse and the rider. I imagine this bubble creating a sense of protection and understanding. And that's why you'll always hear me say, "May the horse be with you, always." Okay, number 4, be open to thinking outside the box. If it seems your student might be having an off day and doesn't feel like riding, offer them different learning experiences. Perhaps you can teach a barn management session, a learn how to polo wrap session, watch training videos together, encouraging them to ask you questions, or teach them how to lunge their horse safely. The possibilities are endless. Number 5, be sure your teaching space is safe in all aspects. If you share the arena with other riders in your lesson, be sure that a specific protocol is in place, depending on the level of rider you are working with. Hopefully your barn owner has set rules. However, be sure that everyone is aware of what to do in situations where traffic can happen. A crowded arena can feel like a scary place, especially for a newer student striving to hear everything you have to say. Number 6, speaking of that, look into a 2-way coaching system. They are absolutely incredible to have quiet conversations with your rider, as well as helping to save your voice when you're teaching all day long. I've really enjoyed the C Coach system, and have not been paid to say that. I am, as well, an ambassador for the Knox Gear 39G, and the rider does have to ride around with their phone. They can slip it into a big pocket on their breeches, and then they wear a clip-on Bluetooth speaker. And then you can call your student and use another Bluetooth speaker from your phone, and you guys can talk. Now, everyone will be able to hear you all around, but it's really wonderful. I have an older rider who can't hear me that well, so it works out great. I just give her a call, and then she can hear me on the little speaker, and she doesn't have to put anything in her ears. I know I've had issues with that with the helmet, so just wanted to mention that. I'll put a link in the notes if you want to check out. It's called the Gear 39G. It's really a handy thing, and you can actually use it for phone calls and listen to music and podcasts. I use it a lot when I'm just running around the house doing chores. Okay, so back to the list. Number 7, continue to check in with your student throughout the lesson. Be sure that they feel comfortable to ask questions and provide you with feedback. Even with children, they often have strong opinions about how things are going. Be sure to be flexible and creative. Number 8, be sure you're taking care of yourself. Have water, snacks, and create little moments to get quiet and breathe in between lessons. The more you take good care of yourself, the better your lessons will go. Number 9. Now you might already do this. I do it all the time. Imagine you're riding the horse that your student is working with. What is the horse trying to tell you? Can you convey those messages to your student? Experiment with this idea more. This could also be the key to encouraging your student to do something that you know they can handle, yet might be doubting themselves. Allow the horse to be a good gauge. Number 10, take time to make jokes. Allow yourself and your student to laugh. Riding is a serious sport, and we can often get lost in the learning. Be sure to create a fun environment. Okay, we're up to chapter 13. I think this is actually one of my favorites. It's called Understanding and Empathy. As professionals, it's our job to understand our students' needs and generally care about their progress. Many instructors get into teaching because of their love of riding. It's important to remind yourself why you love the sport and keep that passion fired up. Let your passion ooze out into your teaching style. Here are some ideas to help you focus on becoming the best guide possible for your students. Number 1, imagine you're a beginner again and what it feels like to put all the parts and pieces together. Encourage your students and remind them often that becoming a proficient rider takes tons of time, persistence, and patience. Be as patient as you can with your students. Look for the tiniest improvements and be sure to say them out loud. Be sure your teaching has a healthy balance of constructive criticism and praise. Number 2, challenge yourself to notice when your student seems to get frustrated. It might be really subtle. Their face might look a little tense. You might notice if they stop breathing, or they could be creating tension in their horse. Allow them to take mini breaks to recalibrate. Most humans learn best in chunks. If they're getting drilled a lot without much success, they can get frustrated easily. Go back to the basics. Getting the lunge line back out to play with connecting to their seat is one of the best ways to reboot the system. Number 3, be an expert at sniffing out fear. If you're teaching and notice your student starting to get either too quiet or they start talking to avoid doing something, they might be afraid of the next part of the lesson. Ask clearly and in a kind manner if they're nervous about something. Ask them how you can help them. If they aren't sure, go back to the basics. I know I've said it before, but it's so important to remember. Don't push too hard or too fast. That's when accidents and loss of trust in the instruction can happen. When I think my rider's ready for something new, I'll often wait 1 or 2 more lessons before we attempt that new layer. I like to tell them this as well, and I've never had any complaints. Number 4, remember not to take anything personally if your student is having a bad day. I should probably say, remember not to take anything personally, full stop. If you've ever read the 4 Agreements, you'll know what I'm talking about. If you haven't, I would definitely recommend checking it out. So don't take anything personally if your student's having a bad day. We all have them, as well as the horses. See if you can find humor in it and shrug it off. The best way to keep your students happy and in a safe learning environment is to encourage them to share their feelings with you. It's so important to keep an open dialogue when you teach such a dangerous yet amazing sport. Number 5, Learn how to settle down an over-ambitious rider. You know them. They're the ones with their cups really full. They think they can do everything right now. Those students can often be more challenging than the beginners. Of course, stay respectful, but remind them that you have a keen sense of what they should be focusing on. Ask them politely to stay with you and on track with your plan for the lesson. If they're too resistant, don't be ashamed to say that they might need to find another instructor. I've had to let a couple of students go who are self-sabotaging, no matter what I tried to say to them. Your time is valuable, as well as your knowledge. Be sure to remind them that, and if they aren't receptive, have them take their business elsewhere. Don't be afraid of losing clients in this way. It will always open up the door for more fun and interesting students to arrive at your arena that will appreciate you. Number 6. When a fall happens, besides doing the obvious safety checks, remember to be kind and respectful to the student, no matter what their age. After a fall, most students are in a raw emotional state. They're really looking to you for support and comfort. If you want to use humor, be tactful. Know the student you're addressing well. If they can get back on safely, go very slowly and offer to even walk closely next to them to get them settled. Also be sure to touch base that evening after they get home. Let them know how proud you are of them and that you wanted to double check that they're truly okay. This is such a beautiful gesture, and you'd be surprised by how many instructors forget to do that. Also, please take extra care of yourself as well. Every fall can shake up an instructor. Be kind to yourself. As we all know, there's only so much we can do to prevent that from happening. Number 7. When teaching young riders, it's important to remember that you're going to be one of the best role models that they can look up to. No pressure, but seriously, embody the characteristics of an adult that you would like to see these youngsters turn into one day. The more you can understand how they put you on a pedestal, the more you can honor the notion that you can help influence future equestrians in amazing ways. Never take that lightly. Number 8. While on the subject of teaching children, be sure to create a respectful working relationship with the parents. Offer them a free mini lesson to allow them to understand what their child is experiencing. Be sure they know the rules while you're teaching, and stand your ground if they impose on you by interfering with the lesson. Be sure you remind them that you're looking out for their child's safety by fostering less distractions. The more you and the parents get along, the better the child can learn. Number 9. While on the subject of being a good role model, I think it's also important to remember to be as authentic as possible. If you're having an issue, let's say you're concerned about a colic case, don't be afraid or ashamed to share that information. If you want to create better relationships as an instructor, being transparent is key. The more real you are as a human, the more respect your student will have for you as well. Number 10, lastly, I know it probably doesn't need to be said, but I think it's important to note. Notice how the horse in the lesson is feeling. If something seems off, physically, emotionally, or mentally, see if you can become a good detective to help that horse. If nothing works, don't be afraid to cut the lesson short. The horse's well-being should always be the most important. Can I get a halt and salute for that? All right, here's chapter 14, honoring yourself. You've been around horses long enough to know that when you stuff something deep inside, your horse can sniff that out pretty quickly. However, many instructors try to hide how they're feeling, especially while teaching. While it's important to keep your composure, it's equally important to honor your emotions. As mentioned earlier, it's good to share what's going on, relevant to the horse world, with your student. Of course, you don't want to overshare and make anyone feel uncomfortable. With that said, if you feel like you need to cancel a lesson for any personal reason, just be honest with your clients. You can simply say that you need time to sort out a personal issue, and you wouldn't be at your best if their lesson happened. I'm sure if you've developed a good relationship with your clients, they would be completely understanding. I'm sure you've heard the saying that once you take care of yourself first, you're much more adept at handling other people's issues. The same goes for riding instructors. We often become our students' therapists and can take on the issues that our students present. This comes with being sensitive to energy, as most instructors are by default, since horses naturally bring that out in us. When you take the time to honor yourself and put on your oxygen mask first, your ability as a teacher will improve tremendously. Here's a list of tips to help make yourself a priority. Number 1, get good sleep. Seriously, it seems so simple, but if you're well rested, you'll be alert and able to cope with anything that comes throughout your day. Number 2, create a quiet time ritual. It might be a 20-minute meditation, free writing in a journal, or closing your eyes on the couch with your favorite music blasting. Whatever you need to recharge, be sure to do it. Do it every day and make it non-negotiable, like brushing your teeth. Number 3, be sure to schedule in your riding time. I get it. You schedule your lessons and then feel too tired to ride. What if you made your riding time first? Otherwise, you're going to risk burnout. I have a whole chapter on that. Don't worry. I'm here to help. All right, number 4, make dates with your significant other and/or your friends. Be sure to have time away from the horses to make you feel like a more balanced human. Number 5, be sure not to jam-pack your lesson schedule. Give yourself at least 10 to 15 minutes in between. If that doesn't seem possible, hire a working student to help your lesson students get ready. Take that prep time for a short bathroom, snack, or quiet time break. Number 6, with those little breaks in between lessons, you might find it useful to wash your hands and clap. Say what? This actually helps you shift your energy and wash off any vibration from your previous student. It gives you a fresh feeling for your next lesson. This is a trick I learned from an intuitive friend. Try it as an experiment and see if you notice any difference throughout your day. Speaking of water, take more showers as well. I know it sounds silly, but I'm not ashamed to admit that as an eternal horse girl, I don't shower as often as I should. But if you take more showers, you're going to feel more refreshed, and it'll help you wash off any negative vibes you might encounter throughout the day. Speaking of that, on a side note, if you go to my YouTube channel and go to the playlist Meditations, you can check out the Energetic Housekeeper, and it's an 8-minute meditation. You can do this standing up, and it'll help you clean up and clear out any energetic ties that are holding you back and making you feel heavy. So I really highly recommend you checking that out. There's also the Appreciation Avalanche meditation, as well as the Beach Ride one. I think you're going to really dig them. So be sure to check them out on YouTube. I'll also put a link in the podcast notes for that. Okay, number 7, schedule vacations and/or spa days. We pamper our horses so much without even thinking. Be sure to give back to yourself too. Number 8, pay attention to your eating habits. Learn what your body enjoys for fuel and do your best to prepare ahead. Don't get caught up in the no time grabbing junk rut. Remember, as a rider, you are also an athlete. You fuel your horses beautifully. Make time to fuel your body just as well. It's all about experimenting. I went from paying no mind to what I ate in my 20s to becoming vegan for a short time to flipping the other way and enjoying the keto diet. And now I find a nice balanced way with extra protein now that I'm heading into the menopause years. Helps me a lot. So it really helps with energy and weight loss as well when you have more protein and get more fiber. And I've also, lifting weights and doing all the things that we need to do. So the key is to just listen to your body, because your body knows what's best. Honor your body and treat yourself like the healthy, amazing athlete that you are. And if you're not sure what your body wants, you can start doing a little routine by just laying on the floor or a yoga mat for a few minutes every morning. Literally put a hand on your heart and just say, okay, body, what do you need today to feel your best? If you just start doing that, it's going to be amazing. Okay, number 9, know your limits. This is a big one. Oftentimes, we will say yes to things before really thinking it through. Practice creating boundaries, much like with the horses, and delegate your time as if you are the most important priority ever, because you are, and I believe in you. You've so got this. Number 10, notice when you begin to stress out. As soon as you feel it, begin to look for any of the suggested tips that can help you reduce stress. Also, reach out to friends who can just listen. Sometimes all you need to do is vent for a few minutes to relieve the tension. Also, try and find a good massage therapist. And when in doubt, just start shaking things out. You can literally just shake your arms and your legs, and I like to shake my face like this. And shake my face. It always makes me laugh, and it helps release tension. So, of course, you can do lots of breathing exercises. The box breathing is great. Do 2 quick inhales and 1 long exhale. And then, of course, my all-time favorite is the horse sigh. You just breathe in and sigh it out like a horse. So here's to more horse sighs and taking excellent care of yourself. And I'll add a bonus tip here. Imagine you are your most favorite horse ever. How would you take care of yourself then? All right, here's chapter 15, dealing with disappointment. Anyone that says riding is easy has no clue what it entails. There are going to be many disappointments in your career if you haven't had some already. That's just part of life. I've learned a lot over the years. I used to get very sad and frustrated and take things personally. Now I know that most of the disappointments had less to do with me and more to do with bad circumstances. No matter what you're going through, reach out to friends or family members for support. Remind yourself why you teach riding and look for the little moments, and they add up, that make you smile. Here's a list of various disappointments that I've dealt with and how I learned to handle them. Number 1, clients don't show up for a lesson. Usually, it's due to lack of communication or a true emergency. If for some reason they just choose to flake on you, this is where you get to stand your ground with your specific cancellation policy that you're sure they were aware of before starting lessons. Be firm about this. If they don't comply, then they aren't your ideal client. It's time to make room for those who will respect your time. Number 2, student moves on to another trainer. This one can sting a bit. Depending on the circumstances, it's best to look at it this way. When I would visit my sister in New York City years ago, we would go shoe shopping on 8th Street. It had nearly 50 different shoe stores on one block. I thought it was kind of crazy to have that much competition all in one place. But you know what? Each shop did pretty well. Know why? There are always different and interesting shoes for everyone, just like there are different instructors for different students. You need to remember that the students who resonate with your teaching style will find you. And believe it or not, if you stay cool and bless them when they leave, some of them might actually come back. I've had that happen a few times. Number 3, horse or student gets injured. This is a rough one for sure. The best thing you can do is be patient and trust that the healing process will happen in its rightful time. Do your best to be as supportive as possible to both horse and or human, depending on the situation. Number 4, you get injured. I've been there. Believe me, this is one of the hardest ones. My best advice, get accidental insurance. Have a support team, including an amazing physical therapist who hopefully knows about riding, and give yourself the proper time to heal. I'm going to say that again. Give yourself the proper time to heal. Number 5, one of your horses passes away. Give yourself time to grieve. Remember that we're all here for such a fleeting moment. Allow the other horses in your world and the humans to comfort and support you. Don't rush into finding another horse. Look into maybe leasing another if you need one for lessons. This is a time to reflect and honor that horse that was such a huge part of your life. Don't make decisions when you're sad, angry, frustrated, or depressed. Allow your feelings to come up, honor them always, and look for anything around you to appreciate. Number 6, trolls, meanies, bad reviews. My dad would always remind me that life is 10% what happens to you and 90% how you handle it. Your feathers will get ruffled in this business. It happens to the best of us. I've mentioned this before, but do your best to realize that people who lash out most of the time are doing so because of their own issues. If you do mess up, by all means own it, apologize genuinely, and do your best to make changes to ensure it doesn't happen again. If you truly are the victim, stand your ground, brush off the bad energy, remind yourself of how awesome you really are, and surround yourself with those who love you. And my business coach reminded me, if that ever happens, to start reading all the good reviews and think about all the wins you've had with your students, and that'll help bring you back to a happier place. Okay, number 7, a falling out with a business partner. I've had my share of mishaps in this industry. Do your best to honor whatever commitments you initially agreed upon and then gracefully move on. I know it's easier said than done. Remember that you need to keep your integrity with everything in life. Ask what you could have done better or differently. Suggest the same for your partner. Allow it to be an open dialogue, and perhaps entrust a neutral person to be a mediator. I know many things can get sticky in the horse business. Attempt to keep all dealings clean and clear in the beginning if possible, and triple check with all contracts to be sure you're in agreement with how everything is handled moving forward. Number 8, your spouse or significant other isn't supportive. Teaching riding is a unique kind of profession. There are many out there who just don't get it. Do your best to create space for your partner to express their opinions, but please stand your ground on yours. If they aren't supporting you in your career, it is a red flag that other issues need to be addressed in the relationship. It might be time to either seek couples therapy or move on. Number 9, your business isn't supporting you financially. This is a huge issue for many instructors. I could probably write an entire book on this subject. Hear this now. If this is truly your passion and you feel a calling to continue teaching, get creative. There are always solutions for getting more business. It could be as simple as getting more exposure locally by holding an open house at your barn to meet you and the horses. Offer a flash sale on social media is another great way for exposure online. Keep the faith. If you want it badly enough, you will find solutions. And number 10, you need to move on to a different area and begin again. This is something I've done many times. It can be daunting, exhausting, and overwhelming, but if you have the courage to ride horses, you can do anything. Think about it. Just riding regularly teaches us about being consistent and persistent. That's what it takes to begin again. It's like getting a green horse and showing it all the basics in a kind, supportive manner. Think of your new business as a green horse. Take your time, slowly and steadily, and build it up. One day you'll look back at your past, thinking about how you can hardly remember those greeny days. And now your successful riding school feels like your business is like Grand Prix level. No more greenies. There you go. All right, so we've gone through the disappointments. I'm sure you've had plenty. And remember, if you have anything you want to talk about or check in with me, I do offer power sessions. So you can check that out on inspiredriding.com/book, BOOK-sessions, SESSIONS. I'll put that in the links as well for you in the podcast notes. All right, here we go. Chapter 16, Preventing Burnout. I told you this was coming. Burnout happens, even with something you absolutely love. Humans, just like horses, need to have stimulation and freedom to be creative. If you're feeling like you're bored, tired, or stuck in a rut, please listen to the following tips to help you get jazzed up again. Here's a list of ideas to help prevent burnout. Number 1, sign up for a clinic or ride with a new trainer to help you get new ideas to play with. Number 2, practice self-care, just like I mentioned in Chapter 14. This alone will do wonders to help you stay balanced. Number 3, look for new opportunities to teach in other areas. See if you can coordinate doing clinics in places you've always wanted to visit. Number 4, challenge yourself to choose new exercises to teach each week. Create a theme for each week. Sit down and create 52 themes. Write them out on index cards and then pick them up at random. Number 5, Take your students to shows, clinics, playdays, or other fun events. Their excitement will often be contagious and will help reignite your passion. Number 6, begin playing more music when you ride and/or teach. Music and horses combined create such a beautiful combination. It's healing, fun, and helps you get more creative. Number 7, notice when you start repeating yourself. Challenge yourself to come up with a new way of saying something. Read more books, watch more videos, and audit more clinics. Keep learning. Number 8, have your students give you a lesson. You can make this a monthly clinic with all of your students. This way you can see if they're really getting the concepts, and you'll also have some fun. Number 9, plan a camping or beach trip with your horses. Allow them to have a little vacation too. Number 10, I've mentioned this before. Try to hire an assistant or a working student to help. If you find a kindred spirit, it will do wonders to help keep you more balanced in your life. Okay, here's chapter 17, and maybe this is my favorite one. I thought it was the empathy one, but maybe they're tied. So this one's called intuitive teaching. Diving into animal communication is really a lot simpler than people realize. Some people think it's specific people who have gifts that could really hear the horses. But if you practice enough, just like anything else, you can start to receive messages from the horses depending on your specific gifts. So you might get more messages from a horse by feeling what they're feeling, or you might get images just flashing through your mind, or you might hear a certain word. So what I want you to do is just start thinking about staying open to any little nuance that you might get from a horse, either while you're riding, just hanging out with them, or while you're teaching. They might pass by you and you might get this innate sense of, oh, they really want their rider to do this. And you're not even sure why that came up, but you then tell the rider that and they're like, oh yeah, that really works. So I just want you to stay open to these concepts, and I'm going to give you some more ideas and how to watch closely for these little nuances from your horses. So the best thing to do is just kind of put your hand on your heart and just ask if there's anything that the horse would like to say or do, and see what comes up. And you can just say it silently to yourself. You don't even have to tell the student what you're doing. So think of it as all a big experiment, but it's a super fun tool when you practice it. And like I said, it does take practice. It's just another layer to create an edge to your already spectacular riding school, which I know you have, or you're building towards. And remember, if you have any doubts, try this. Find a human that would be willing to experiment with you for a few minutes. Begin by breathing deeply and into your heart space, meaning put your hand on your heart and breathe and imagine your heart area expanding. Have each of you pick a color and think of all the things that connect you to that color. You're going to do it one at a time, of course. Now see if the other person can guess what color you're thinking about. This is the very first exercise I did when I learned about animal communication from Carol Gurney. So you're going to do this several times with each other and see if other people are willing to experiment with you, and see if you can guess the colors more often than not. And compare answers. This will help you determine the validity of your communication through telepathy. Then you can begin integrating this with your teaching. Check in with your student to see how they're feeling and what they'd like to achieve. And then you can silently check in with the horse as well. I'm excited for you to experiment with this. And if you can master this kind of honoring and appreciation of the horse, imagine how much your business can shift. Here are some ideas to play with to create a more intuitive teaching method. Number 1, on your way out to teach, ask yourself what the best plan of action for the lesson would be today. If nothing comes up, simply create a feeling of appreciation that you get to connect and assist a horse and rider. It's important to keep reaching for gratitude. And I know I mentioned filling yourself up with love. So if you combine love and gratitude, let it fill you up, let it ooze out when you go to teach. It's going to create the most beautiful environment. Number 2, pay attention to any random ideas that pop in while you're teaching. So like I mentioned before, if your horse is just going right past you that you're teaching, and you just get a random thought that pops in, really notice that. Notice if it's coming from you, the horse, or the student, too. It's fun to decipher where the messages are coming from. I like to call them downloads. And paying attention to these gut feelings, these sensations, will get you well on your way to honoring your more intuitive side. Number 3, experiment with your teaching style. Some instructors are extremely firm and demanding. Some are lighthearted and silly. Play around, step into different roles, and see what works best for each lesson. Notice how your student and horse responds and be willing to shift gears. And you might need to change for each horse and rider. Number 4, practice scanning the rider and the horse continually. You'll begin to sense when things are flowing and when there's tension. The more you practice this, you develop your eye for teaching, as well as developing your feel for what to offer next. Now, I teach remotely around the world, and I can see just through the computer when my student has stopped breathing. So I often say, okay, make sure you're breathing, talk to me, sing something, hum, whatever you need to do to keep that breath moving. And of course, number 5 is remind yourself, your student, and the horse to breathe. The breath helps in so many ways during the learning process. You'll start to notice when your student is holding your breath, and hopefully when you do too. When you remind your student to breathe, take a deep breath yourself. Sometimes an audible sigh will help the horse breathe more and sigh as well. By encouraging your student to remember to breathe, your horse in the lesson will relax. This simple tool will allow more answers to flow when you tune into the lesson. Number 6, encourage your student to become more intuitive as well. Ask your student what they think their horse needs in the moment to feel better. Let it become a great learning tool for your student to search for answers. This will also highlight where they might have a disconnect, and you'll have to explain something a little more in depth. Number 7, allow your student to ride around without any instruction for certain periods of time. Let everything get quiet, and then ask them how they felt about that portion of the lesson. See if anything specific comes up from that quiet riding time. Even if all of this seems completely silly to you, by experimenting with some of these techniques, it will encourage you to become a more attentive instructor. And please, I know that you know this, but it should go without saying that having your phone send you alerts during a lesson is a big distraction. Unless you're in an emergency situation, keep the riding lesson a sacred time. Turn your phone to silent so you can tune into your amazing job. So there you go. I really hope that you can take some of these ideas to heart and you can implement them and have much success in all of your instruction. Thank you so much for listening. And if you enjoyed this, please create a review on your podcast platform. Remember to lead with kindness for yourself and for your horse. And may the horse be with you always.